Born Timothy Wayne McBride. November 28, 1944, age 77. West Monoy Township, Pennsylvania, U.S. Nationality United States. Height 5 feet 11 in, 1.80 m. Criminal status incarcerated. Conviction, S, murder, rape. Criminal penalty 13 consecutive life terms 1. Details. Victims 9. Span of crimes 1977 to 1982. State, S, Missouri. Illinois. Pennsylvania. Kentucky. Date apprehended August 29, 2007. Imprisoned at Pontiac Correctional Center. Timothy Wayne Cratch, pronounced /Crater/, born Timothy Wayne McBride, November 28, 1944, is a convicted American serial killer from West Monoy Township, Pennsylvania who has confessed to killing 9 women, 5 in Missouri and 4 others in Illinois and Pennsylvania. Cratch was born Timothy Wayne McBride in West Monoy Township, Pennsylvania to Charles McBride and Fern Yost on November 28, 1944. In 1945, when Timothy was around a year old, Charles McBride abandoned the family, leaving Yost to raise him on her own. In 1949 or 1950 when Timothy was either 5 or 6, Yost met and married Bernie Cratch. Timothy McBride was legally adopted by Bernie in 1953 and Timothy McBride's surname was legally changed from McBride to Cratch. At the age of 10, Timothy Cratch began to develop an unhealthy sexual and emotional obsession with his mother, and by the age of 13 he had become a voyeur and exhibitionist. Cratch later enrolled at Southern Illinois University Carbondale where he earned a BA in the Administration of Justice, with a minor in psychology. Criminal background. Cratch's first encounter with the law took place on July 7, 1951, when he was charged with the petty theft of a bicycle in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. His second encounter with the law took place in 1960, when at the age of 15 he was charged with petty theft in New Milford, Pennsylvania. After a stint of just 14 months in the Navy, he was dishonorably discharged in 1963 for sexual assault. Cratch first entered the Illinois prison system in 1963 on a rape conviction. Since then, he has spent most of his adult life behind bars for sex crimes, except for a brief period of freedom in the late 1970s and early 1980s. During this brief period, he killed at least 9 women. Cratch has been incarcerated since 1982. Murders. In carrying out his crimes, Cratch would travel to various towns that he had no connection to, stalk his victims, and then break into their homes and wait for them to arrive. In 1977, Cratch was released from prison after serving time for rape, and as a condition of his parole, he was required to enroll at Southern Illinois University Carbondale. There, in 1981, he earned a degree in administrative justice with a minor in psychology. Some victims were found tied up in their beds. Others were kidnapped and transported across state lines before they were killed. Most of them were raped and forced to perform sexual acts. Some were killed by a gunshot to the head. Others were stabbed or asphyxiated. There was little evidence pointing to any of the rapes or murders being linked or to them having been committed by the same person. The lack of forensic and DNA technology at the time and the multiple methods of murder made it difficult for investigators to link all the crimes to a single suspect. Known victims: Mary Parsh, 58. Brenda Parsh, 27. Sheila Cole, 21. Virginia Lee Witt, 51. Joyce Tharp, 29. Myrtle Rupp, 51. Ida White, 72. Margie Call, 57. Deborah Shepard, 23. Mildred Wallace, 65. Sentencing. Cratch was finally connected to a murder because of DNA evidence left at the crime scene. At the time of the commission of the crime, DNA testing was not available, but as DNA analysis advanced, testing became possible. Cratch was sentenced on December 10, 2007, to 40 years in prison for the 1982 killing of Southern Illinois University Carbondale student Deborah Shepard and in addition was charged with 5 counts of murder and 3 counts of rape against women in the Cape Girardeau area from 1977 to 1982. On January 18, 2008, Cratch pleaded guilty and was sentenced to another 40 years in prison for the 1978 killing of Marion resident Virginia Lee Witt. The new sentence will be served consecutively with the 40-year sentence he received in December 2007. On April 4, 2008, Cratch pleaded guilty to the murder of 5 women in Cape Girardeau, to 7 sexual assaults, and 1 robbery. He was then sentenced to an additional 13 consecutive life terms. Relatives of the victims agreed to the plea bargain, which took the death penalty off the table. At his sentencing in April, Krajcer stated, "I don't know if I could have been so generous if I were in the same situation. Thank you for sparing my life." Krajcer is currently held at the Pontiac Correctional Center in Pontiac, Illinois. Jailed serial killer confesses to 1979 Paducah murder. Police say a serial killer who may have murdered as many as 9 women, has a Kentucky victim. As Wave 3's Connie Leonard reports, Timothy Krajcer, a former EMT, now admits he used to cruise the city of Paducah looking for his next victim. Police say that Kentucky victim was a young woman named Joyce Tharp, whose murder until now has gone unsolved for nearly 3 decades. Now her family is both relieved and conflicted about the serial killer's admission. "To do her the way he did her, it just makes me real angry," said Vernell Tharp. Tharp is talking about the man he just found out murdered his sister nearly 30 years ago. Confessed murderer Timothy Krajcer is a former emergency medical technician who says he cruised Paducah looking for victims. Krajcer claims in the early morning hours of March 23, 1979, he spotted 29-year-old Joyce Tharp for his next heinous crime. According to Krajcer, he followed her to her apartment, broke in and kidnapped her at knife point. The next day, Tharp was found sexually abused and strangled by a flower delivery man. Her naked body was left next to a garbage can in the parking lot of the Park Avenue Baptist Church. Wiping away tears, her brother, who was her roommate at the time, says he was out the night his sister was stalked and tortured by Krajcer. "It just so happens I was at my girlfriend's house that night, and it just makes me feel bad that I wasn't there, because maybe there is that possibility that maybe I could have done something to save her life, and that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life," Tharp said. Paducah police say they got a call about the cold case from investigators in Carbondale, Illinois, who had been talking with a prison inmate named Timothy Krajcer. After lengthy interviews, they discovered Krajcer knew specifics about the murder that only the killer could. They say he showed no remorse as he passed along the details. Krajcer passed along through detectives that he's very sorry for the family's pain, a sentiment that's little comfort despite finding some closure. The serial killer confessed has admitted to killing 9 women in 4 states in the late 1970s to the early 80s. He is currently being held at a correctional facility in Illinois.